Don't sign that. The pen stopped. 12 men reached for weapons. Imani's heart slammed against her ribs, but her voice came out steady, clear. The voice she used when she was absolutely certain. The man at the head of the table didn't move, just held the pen suspended an inch above paper, his eyes lifting to find her. Those eyes were dark, unreadable, the kind that had watched men beg and felt nothing. Excuse me. Quiet. Polite. The politeness of a blade at your throat. Every instinct screamed to back away, apologize, disappear. But her mother hadn't raised a woman who apologized for being right. The decimal point. Clause 17, subsection B, equity allocation. That's not 65%. That's 6.5. Silence. The kind that swallows screams. One of the men, silver-haired, face like carved granite, laughed. The waitress is giving legal advice now. I have a degree in applied mathematics from Columbia, and that contract will bankrupt you. The man at the head of the table set down his pen. Slowly, deliberately. He stood, 6'2" of tailored suit and controlled violence. He moved like water, fluid, inevitable, deadly. He walked toward her. Up close, she could see the details. Sharp jaw, scar bisecting his left eyebrow, hands that had definitely done damage. And those eyes, studying her like an equation he couldn't solve. Show me. Not a request. A command. Her fingers shook as she reached for the contract. He was close enough she could smell cedarwood and whiskey. She forced herself to focus on the numbers. Here. She pointed. Formatted to blend. Easy to miss. But if you sign this, you're handing them controlling interest in your operations. He leaned in. His breath ghosted across her temple. 3 heartbeats. 4. 5. Fuck. He switched to rapid Korean, addressing the silver-haired man. The language was harsh, beautiful. She didn't understand it, but she understood fury. The silver-haired man went pale, pulled out a phone, barked orders. The man in front of her turned back. Something had shifted in his eyes. Not gratitude. Something more dangerous. What's your name? Imani. Imani Cole. Park, J1. He said it like a sentencing. You just saved my life. I just saw a decimal point. No. You saw what 6 lawyers and my entire team missed. What someone carefully designed to be invisible. His hand reached out, stopped an inch from her face. May I? She nodded. His fingers brushed her cheek, barely a touch, and came away with blood. She hadn't realized she'd bitten her lip. He pulled a silk pocket square from his jacket and pressed it gently to her mouth. You're bleeding. I do that when I'm terrified. The corner of his mouth twitched. Smart. Not smart enough to keep my mouth shut. In my world, silence gets you killed faster than speaking. He stepped back. You really don't know who we are. I know you pay $400 for Wagyu and value discretion. Former analyst at Morrison & Reeves, terminated for reporting embezzlement. Former consultant at Apex Financial, terminated for discovering fraud. He paused. I had you investigated the moment you walked through that door 2 weeks ago. The file probably mentioned I've been fired from every job I've had. Then you've been working for the wrong employers. Something in his voice made her pulse kick. You're in danger, he said. Whoever created that contract knows their trap failed. They'll know you. So what? You're going to protect me. I don't have a good heart, but I have a debt. And in my culture, debts are sacred. He pulled out a business card. Plain white. A phone number. Nothing else. You call me the second you feel unsafe. He pressed it into her palm. His fingers curled around hers. Thank you, he said. In Korean first. 감사합니다, then English. For speaking when you had every reason to stay silent. He released her hand. Hyun-woo will drive you home. He'll stay outside your building tonight. Tomorrow, we discuss what happens next. I don't need. Yes, you do. And Imani? Don't go to the police. Don't tell anyone what you saw. Trust no one but me. I don't know you. No. But I'm the only reason you'll live long enough to change that. Notice how you're still here? You're different from the ones who already clicked away. People like you subscribe. So, why haven't you? 3 hours earlier, Imani had been fired. It's not personal. Manager Kim wouldn't meet her eyes. Corporate decision. Corporate decision to fire me before the biggest event of the month? Or because I pointed out the inventory discrepancies? His face went tight. Your final paycheck will be direct deposited. She wanted to throw the envelope in his face, but her bank account had $47 and rent was due in 5 days. Girls like you don't belong here anyway, he muttered. She stopped. Girls like me. He didn't answer. She walked out with her head high and hands shaking. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Need someone for tonight. Private security. $5,000 cash. Interested? She should have deleted it. What's the job? Observe. Report. Stay quiet. Mario's coffee, 5 p.m. Come alone. Every instinct screamed danger. Her bank account whispered louder. Mario's coffee was Tribeca, $12 lattes, and guilt about gentrification. Marcus Reed sat in the back corner. Ex-military. Private security contractor. They'd gone to Colombia together. Client needs someone to work a private dinner. High-end Korean steakhouse. Serving staff. I just got fired from a Korean steakhouse. I know. That's why you're perfect. She tilted her head. You got me fired. I got you available. The clients are sensitive. They need someone watching who won't be noticed. Watching for what? Anything unusual. Financial documents. Behavioral tells. He leaned forward. $5,000, Imani. Cash. Tonight. You observe. You report to me. You walk away. She should have said no. I'm in. He slid an envelope across the table. Uniform inside. Be at Hamu by 6. Service entrance. Inside was a card. Trust no one. Report everything. She sat there with her terrible decision and the feeling she'd just stepped off a cliff. Turned out she was right. The service entrance at Hanwoo smelled like sesame oil and money. The private dining room was elegant brutality, low lights, black marble, crystal catching light like diamonds. The men were already seated. Dark suits, darker eyes, absolute stillness. The man at the head of the table was different. Younger, face like a Renaissance painting, beautiful, remote, untouchable. He spoke in Korean, and every man leaned in to listen. She poured water, delivered appetizers, stayed invisible, and watched. The documents came out during the third course. Dense legal text. The men passed them around, reading carefully. But she could follow the numbers. Always, she could follow the numbers. Clause 17, subsection B, equity allocation. 6.5%. Formatted to look like 65%. Someone had weaponized a decimal point. This wasn't a business deal. This was a trap. The man at the head, J1, reached for his pen. She didn't think. She moved. Don't sign that. And everything changed. Hyunwoo's BMW smelled like leather and tension. Imani sat in the back, hands folded, still processing. Most people can't stop talking after meeting the Sejangnam, Hyunwoo said. I don't know what that means. Boss. Leader. The man who decides if you live or die. He caught her eyes in the mirror. You saved his life tonight. I noticed a decimal point. You could have stayed silent. She turned the Columbia ring 3 times. If I'd stayed silent and he'd signed, what would have happened to me? Hyunwoo smiled. You're smarter than you look. He pulled up to her building, a walk-up in Washington Heights, peeling paint, questionable plumbing. I'll be outside all night. Don't leave. Don't open the door for anyone. He handed her a burner phone. His number is programmed. You feel unsafe, you call. This is insane. This is your life now. At least until we find who tried to kill him. Inside her apartment, she triple-checked the locks, sank onto her futon, and pulled out J1's card. She traced the numbers. Imagined his voice. Thank you. Imagined his hand on her face. His thumb wiping blood from her lip. The burner buzzed. Are you safe? She stared at the screen. Yes. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we talk. About what? About why you're the first person in 4 years who's made me feel something other than cold. Her breath caught. She reread it 3 times. That's the trauma talking. No, that's the truth. She didn't respond. Eventually she crawled into bed, holding the phone against her chest. Outside, Hyunwoo watched her window. And across the city, in a penthouse touching the sky, Park Jae-won stood at floor-to-ceiling windows and stared at blurred lights. His father had taught him that sentiment was weakness. That trust was the first thing you killed to survive. His father had been wrong about a lot of things. He touched the pocket square, still marked with her blood. and felt something crack in his chest. Something frozen for 4 years. It felt like danger. It felt like hope. Find out who she is, he said to the empty room. Everything. Because if he was going to protect her, he needed to know her. And if he was being honest, which he rarely was, he just wanted to know her. The woman who'd counted 3 breaths before destroying his enemies. The woman who'd looked at him and seen a man. Imani. 3 syllables. Each one a promise. He was going to keep her alive, even if it killed him. Morning came through dirty windows like an accusation. Imani woke with the burner phone clutched against her ribs. For 3 seconds, she thought she'd dreamed it. Then she saw Hyunwoo's BMW across the street. Real. It was all real. She showered in water that never got hot enough, dressed in jeans and her last clean Columbia sweatshirt. Stared at her reflection. 28. Single. Unemployed. Protected by a man who commanded violence like other people commanded coffee. Her mother would have laughed, then slapped her, then said, "Baby, your mind is a weapon. Make sure you aim it at something that matters." Imani touched the numbers tattooed on her wrist. 3.14159. She'd gotten them the day after her mother's funeral. Pi. Infinite. Never-ending. You see patterns other people miss. Her mother had said 2 weeks before cancer stopped her heart. That's not a curse. That's your superpower. Turned out superpowers got you fired. Or almost killed. The burner buzzed. Car arrives in 20 minutes. Breakfast first. Then we talk. She typed, "I don't take orders well. I noticed. It's one of your more attractive qualities." Her stomach flipped. "Fine. But I picked the place. Deal." She named a Harlem diner. Her territory. Neutral ground. "See you there." The diner was exactly what she needed. Fluorescent lights, cracked vinyl, coffee that tasted like the Clinton administration. Real. Unglamorous. J1 arrived exactly on time. He looked different in daylight. Less untouchable. The suit was still expensive, but he'd ditched the tie. His hair fell across his forehead. Shadows under his eyes said he'd slept about as well as she had. He slid into the booth. Studied her face like memorizing coordinates. "You didn't sleep," he said. "Neither did you. I had people to kill. Metaphorically. Of course." Gloria appeared, 60-something, name tag, the kind of woman who'd seen everything. "What can I get you, baby?" Imani ordered coffee and eggs. J1 ordered the same. Silence stretched. "So," Imani said, "are you going to tell me who tried to kill you?" "Yes." "Why?" "Eventually." "What am I doing here?" He leaned forward. "You're here because you're in danger. Because I owe you a debt I can't repay with money." He stopped. Something flickered. "And because you're the first person in 4 years who's looked at me and told me the truth." Gloria returned with coffee. Imani wrapped her hands around the cheap mug. "I don't know you," she said quietly. "I don't know if you're a good man or a monster. I'm not a good man. I didn't ask if you were good. I said I don't know you. Would you like to?" The question hung heavy. "I'd like to know if I'm going to die. Not if I can prevent it." That's not reassuring. It's honest. He sipped coffee. Made a face. "This is terrible. Welcome to my tax bracket." Almost a smile. "Tell me about Colombia." "You already know." "I know facts. I want to know you." She shouldn't. But his eyes were steady, and he'd sent protection, and her life had stopped making sense anyway. "I was good at math. Really good. Scholarship kid. Full ride. Graduated summa cum laude." She turned the ring. "Thought I'd change the world. Turns out the world doesn't want changing." "What happened?" "Morrison and Reeves. 6 months in, I noticed discrepancies. Found a partner embezzling $2 million over 3 years. You reported it. To everyone who'd listen. They fired me for creating a hostile work environment. The partner got promoted. J1's jaw tightened. And the next job? Apex Financial. Fraudulent loan applications. Reported it. Fired for insubordination." She met his eyes. "You see a pattern?" "I see a woman who refuses to be complicit. I see a woman who can't keep a job. Because you're working for cowards. They punish you for having integrity." He paused. "That's rarer than you think. Especially in my world." "What is your world?" He was quiet. Outside, Harlem moved. Commuters, vendors, the city's rhythm. "My father built an empire," he said finally. "Import-export. Shipping. Investments across 3 continents. Legitimate on paper. less so in practice. The mob, syndicate, the Jiaminpa, one of Seoul's oldest organizations. My father brought American operations here 40 years ago. And then, heart attack. Except it wasn't. His voice went flat. 4 years ago, assassination made to look natural. I inherited his position, his empire, his enemies, his debts. Who killed him? I'm still finding out. But last night's contract was the first real lead. Someone inside my organization working with rivals. Someone close enough to access documents. Until you. Gloria returned with eggs. They ate in silence. Finally, Imani set down her fork. What do you want from me? I want you safe. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. He leaned forward. The people who created that contract know you exposed them. They won't stop. So I hide forever? You hide until I eliminate the threat. How long? Weeks. Maybe months. He pulled out a key card. I have a property. Midtown. Secure building. You'll stay there until this is finished. She stared at it. You want me to move into your apartment? It's not my apartment. I have 3 properties. This one is empty. Safe. I need to know where you are. I don't need a savior. I'm not offering salvation. I'm offering survival. What's the difference? Salvation implies you're helpless. Survival implies you're smart enough to accept help. His eyes held hers. Which are you? The challenge sparked something in her chest. I have conditions. Name them. I don't hide. I'm not a damsel. If I'm in danger, I help fix it. Agreed. I'm not your possession. We're not. She gestured. Whatever this is stays professional. Something flickered. Agreed. And you tell me the truth. All of it. That one's harder. But he nodded. I'll try. She picked up the key card. This is insane. Yes. I'm probably going to regret this. Probably. When do I move in? Today? Hyunwoo will help. He stood. Left 320s. Enough to cover breakfast 4 times over. One more thing. He pulled out a phone. New. Still in the box. Your phone is compromised. This one is clean. Encrypted. 3 numbers. Mine, Hyunwoo's, emergency. You're really serious. I'm serious about keeping you alive. He buttoned his jacket. The address is programmed. He turned to leave. J1. He stopped. Thank you. For the truth. Don't thank me yet. This is just the beginning. He left her in the diner with a key card and a phone, and the feeling her life had just split into before and after. The apartment was obscene. 47th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. Kitchen with appliances she couldn't name. Bedroom bigger than her studio. Bathroom with a tub for 3. This was where rich people lived. Hyunwoo set down the last box. All her possessions fit in 4 boxes and checked everything. Windows. Locks. Security system. You know how to use this? He pointed to the panel. I can figure it out. Figure it out now. She punched the code. Armed. Disarmed. Armed again. The Sajangnam said he'll be by tonight. Around 8. Don't open the door for anyone else. Does he always give orders through intermediaries? He gives orders however he wants. That's what makes him Sajangnam. Hyunwoo stopped at the door. He's a good man. Harder than he needs to be. Colder than he wants to be. But good. Where it counts. You sound like you're trying to convince me. Maybe I'm convincing myself. He left. Alone, Imani walked through the apartment. Touched surfaces that cost more than her education. Tried to reconcile this space with who she'd been 12 hours ago. Failed. Her phone buzzed. Settling in? If by settling you mean existential crisis. Yes. Normal reaction. Is anything about this normal? The dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared. No. But neither are you. Why are you doing this? Because I owe you. Debt doesn't explain this. His response took longer. In my culture, when someone saves your life, you become responsible for theirs. Yinhai. Grace. Debt. Something without translation. So I'm your responsibility? No. You're my problem. There's a difference. Despite everything, she smiled. What's the difference? Responsibilities are burdens. Problems are interesting. I'm interesting. You have no idea. The words sat loaded on her screen. See you at 8. Counting on it. She set down the phone. Pressed her palms against cold glass. Looked out at Manhattan. Her life used to make sense. Now she was living in a penthouse, protected by a crime boss. waiting for 8 o'clock like it meant something. Maybe it did. He arrived at 7:47. Imani had spent 3 hours staring at her possessions. 7 Columbia sweatshirts, 0 nice dresses. The door buzzed. She checked the camera. J1, tie loosened, looking tired and dangerous. She opened the door. You're early. I'm impatient. He held up bags. I brought dinner. Hope you like Thai. I like not cooking. Good. Because I can't. He moved into the kitchen, pulled out containers, found plates without asking. You've been here before, she observed. I own the building. Of course you do. He smiled. Actually smiled. Not the cold thing from before, but something real. It transformed his face. Sit. I'll serve. I can. Sit. She sat. Watched him plate pad thai and spring rolls like he'd done this before. He set a plate in front of her. Poured water, 3 ice cubes. You count in 3s, she said. He paused. You noticed. I notice patterns. So do I. You turn your ring 3 times when anxious. You count breaths. 3 is your safety number. And yours. My father taught me. 3 points for stability. 3 witnesses for truth. 3 strikes before mercy ends. He picked up his fork. Some lessons stick. They ate in comfortable silence. Tell me something real, Imani said finally. Real. Not about crime. Something human. He set down his fork. My mother played piano. Chopin mostly. Every morning at 5 a.m. The whole house would wake to nocturnes. Memory bled through. She died when I was 12. Aneurysm. One morning playing. The next, gone. I'm sorry. She made my father human. After she died, he became something else. Harder. And you? I became what I needed to be. He met her eyes. What about you? My mother died 3 years ago. Breast cancer. Math teacher. Used to write equations on napkins over breakfast. Imani touched her wrist tattoo. She said numbers were the only honest language. She sounds wise. She was. She would have hated this. You. All of it. Because I'm a criminal? Because she wanted me safe. And nothing about you is safe. He didn't deny it. Just nodded. If you want to leave, he said quietly, I'll protect you from a distance. Set you up far from here. New identity. Clean start. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. Answer the question. Silence. Outside, the city glittered. No, he said finally. I don't want you to leave. Why not? Because 4 years ago, I watched my father die. I held his hand and felt it go cold. I became responsible for an empire I never wanted. I've spent every day pretending to be harder than I am. Colder. More like him. J1. And then you walked into a room full of armed men and told me not to sign. You were terrified. I could see it. But you spoke anyway. His voice dropped. You have no idea what that meant. He didn't finish. The space between them felt charged. I should go, he said. Didn't move. Probably. It's late. It's 8:30. You need to rest. Do I? Imani. I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid of this. Whatever this is. This is me trying not to cross a line. What line? The one where I stop pretending this is just about debt. He stood, moved toward the door, stopped with his hand on the handle. The one where I admit I haven't stopped thinking about you. Where I confess that protecting you has stopped feeling like obligation. Like what? He turned, looked at her like she was an equation that mattered more than empires. Like the first real thing I've felt in 4 years. The words hung. Good night, Imani. He left before she could respond. Before she could admit she'd been thinking about him too. That safety and danger had blurred into something that tasted like his name. She locked the door. Walked to the window. Somewhere down there, people were trying to kill her. Somewhere closer, a man who commanded violence was trying not to want her. And somewhere inside her chest, her heart was doing the most dangerous thing possible. It was hoping. 3 days passed like a held breath. Imani lived in the apartment like a ghost. She unpacked, stared out windows at a park she couldn't walk through. Tried not to think about J1. Failed. He texted every morning. Safe. Just one word. She'd respond yes, and he'd send back. Korean affirmative. It felt intimate. On the 4th morning, her phone rang. Someone accessed the building's security logs. 3 a.m. They know what floor you're on. Ice flooded her veins. How? I'm finding out. Pack a bag. Hyun-woo will be there in 10 minutes. Where am I going? Somewhere safer. She grabbed her backpack and threw in essentials. The numbers on her wrist caught light. 3.14159, infinite. Like the danger finding her. The buzzer rang. Hyun-woo, looking grim. His face was bruised. Fresh blood at his hairline. What happened? Change of plans. He gripped her arm. Urgent. They hit our secondary location. For men. Professional. The Sejanum wants you at the primary estate. Helicopter leaves in 20. They left a photo at your mother's grave. Fresh flowers. His jaw tightened. They can reach anything you care about. The elevator descended. Her heart hammered. 3 beats. Pause. 3 more. Basement garage. A black SUV with engine running. 10 feet away, she heard it. The click. Hyun-woo moved, spinning, pushing her down, reaching for his weapon. The gunshot was deafening. Hyun-woo fell. Blood spread across his shirt, shoulder, not chest. Run, he gasped. Car. Keys. Run. 3 men emerged. Masks. Guns. She ran. Grabbed his keys. Sprinted. Bullets sparked off concrete. She dove into the driver's seat. Locked doors. Hands shaking. 3 tries to start the engine. Reverse. Tires screaming. 1 man on the hood. She swerved. He rolled off. The exit was steep. She took it at 40 and burst onto the street. Muzzle flashes behind. Manhattan traffic ahead. She cut across 3 lanes. Horns blaring. Turned onto 5th, then Lexington, just moving. Her phone rang. J1. They shot Hyun-woo. I know. He triggered his beacon. Where are you? Driving. I think I lost them. You didn't. They have trackers. Ditch the car. Get somewhere public. Grand Central. 3 blocks away. Main terminal. Stay visible. I'm 10 minutes out. She abandoned the SUV. Blood on her hands. Hyun-woo's, from the keys. Don't think. Move. She ran. Grand Central at Rush was chaos. She pushed through commuters, making herself small. The main terminal opened. That famous ceiling, constellations backward, lights streaming through windows. She found a spot near the information booth. Central. Visible. Her phone buzzed. I see you. She looked up. There. J1, moving through the terminal like water. Not running. Just walking with absolute purpose. 2 men flanking him. Their eyes met across marble. He reached her. Checked for injury. Are you hurt? No. Hyun-woo is alive. In surgery. He'll make it. His jaw tightened. We need to move. They're here. What? 2 men. East entrance. He took her arm. Gentle. Firm. Stay close. They moved deeper. Toward the dining concourse. Oyster bar. Private room. I own it. Behind them, shouts. Walk faster. One of his men muttered. They reached the oyster bar. J1 spoke rapid Korean to the hostess. She nodded. Led them through, past curved ceilings, through a door marked private. Dark wood. Leather booths. A table set for 2. Lock it, J1 ordered. Watch the door. He turned to Amani. Let me see your hands. She held them up. Shaking. Marked with blood. J1 pulled out a handkerchief. Took her hands. Warm, steady, and wiped the blood away with devastating gentleness. You did well. I ran. You survived. Against trained killers. Do you know how rare that is? Hyun-woo saved me. Hyun-woo bought you seconds. You saved yourself. He didn't let go. I'm sorry. For putting you in danger. For underestimating them. You couldn't have known. I should have. Which is why everything changes. Now. He released her. Pulled out a chair. Sit. She sat. The people hunting you are organized. Well-funded. They knew exactly where you'd be. Someone in my organization is feeding them information. Someone you trust. Yes. Someone close. How many have access? 12. My inner circle. He showed her names on his phone. All Korean. Imani studied them. Pattern recognition activating. Min Soo-jin. He was at the dinner. Sat to your left. My underboss. He called me a liability. He said what everyone was thinking. But he said it first. Pushed hardest. He wanted me gone before I could see more. She closed her eyes. Replayed memory. He touched his phone 3 times during the contract review. Like waiting for something. And when I pointed out the decimal error, everyone looked shocked. Except him. Except him. He looked angry. For just a second. She opened her eyes. He knew about the decimal point. He was expecting you to sign. The temperature dropped. Jae-won's face went blank. Erased. Soo-jin has been with my family 20 years. He carried my father's casket. I could be wrong. You're not. Jae-won's office was midtown. 43rd floor. Inside, floor-to-ceiling windows. A photograph on the desk. Young Jae-won between his parents. Before the cold. He'll be here in 10 minutes. He poured whiskey. Handed her one. Drink. She sipped. Expensive burn. Where do you want me? He gestured to a shadowed corner. There. Don't speak. Just observe. What if I'm wrong? Then I'll have destroyed 20 years of loyalty for nothing. But you're not wrong. The intercom buzzed. Min Soo-jin is here. Jae-won's face went smooth. Send him in. Soo-jin entered. Silver hair perfect. Face arranged in concern. He bowed. His eyes snagged on Imani. For a second, his expression cracked. Shock. Rage. Then smooth. I didn't realize we had company. Miss Cole is assisting me. Sit. Soo-jin sat. 3 fingers tapping his thigh. Hyun-woo was shot this morning. Terrible. How is he? Alive. Barely. Someone accessed our security. Found Miss Cole. Sent a kill team. We have a leak. Yes. Jae-won's eyes were flat. We do. Silence. Soo-jin shifted. That tapping accelerated. I've been reviewing our circle. 12 people I trusted. He paused. Someone very careful. Jae-won stood. Walked behind Soo-jin. Hands on the chair. Caging him. I know it's you. Soo-jin stood. I've served your family 20 years. Sit. Down. The command cracked. Soo-jin sat. 20 years. You carried my father's casket. Swore loyalty. Lied with every word. That woman is nobody. Careful what you say about her. How much did they pay you? Silence. Then Soo-jin laughed. Bitter. Not enough. Never enough to balance what your family took from me. My father served yours 30 years. Bled for him. And when he wanted to retire, your father discarded him. No pension. He died alone while yours lived in luxury. The air went electric. You killed him. You killed my father. No. But I told them how. His heart condition. His medication. Exactly how much digoxin would look like cardiac arrest. And the contract was supposed to be your ending. Destroyed by your own greed. Until she noticed. Jae-won didn't move. Just processed 4 years of betrayal. Do it, Soo-jin said. Whatever you're planning. No. Death is too quick. Jae-won pulled out his phone. Made a call. 3 sentences in Korean. Your family will know what you did. Your father's name erased. Your mother removed from her facility. Your sister's business will collapse by morning. You'll live. But everything you did this for, I'll destroy it. And you'll watch. The door opened. 2 men grabbed Soo-jin. Basement. I'll deal with him later. They dragged him out. His broken laughter echoed. Silence. Jae-won stood perfectly still. Perfectly shattered. His knees buckled. Imani moved. Caught him. They sank to the floor, her back against the desk, his head against her shoulder, his body shaking. She held him. Counted his breaths. Felt his heart racing. I should have known, he whispered. He was good at hiding. You saw him. I wasn't looking with love. I was looking with math. Numbers don't lie. People do. He pulled back. Red-rimmed eyes. Do you? No. How do I know? Because I have nothing to gain. I'm just a woman who saw a decimal point and saved a man. He leaned into her touch. You saved me twice now. 3rd time's the charm. His laugh was broken. Beautiful. Thank you. For what? For being here. For not running when you saw this. You mean your humanity? My weakness. Same thing. And it's not weakness. It's proof you're not him. Not the monster they try to make you. Monsters don't break. They don't feel betrayal like it's killing them. You're just a man. That's not weakness. That's hope. He pressed his forehead against hers. Breathed the same air. Imani. Yes. Don't leave me. Not an order. A plea. I won't. And somewhere between confession and comfort, the line they'd been trying not to cross disappeared. Because this wasn't about dead anymore. This was about 2 people who'd found each other in the dark and decided to burn the world down together rather than face it alone. The basement was clinical. White walls. Bright lights. A chair bolted to the floor. Medical equipment, not for healing. Sujin sat zip-tied, face swollen, but alive, watching Imani with pure hate. You brought her. Korean. Angry. She didn't need translation for the contempt. She has questions. Answer them. I don't answer to. Jae-won moved. One step. Didn't touch him. Didn't need to. Sujin went quiet. Imani stepped closer. Counted 3 breaths. Her mother had taught her fear and anger sounded the same to the body. The difference was in how you used it. She chose anger. Who else is involved? You didn't orchestrate this alone. The contract was too sophisticated. The security breach too precise. Sujin smiled. Blood on his teeth. You think you're smart. I am smart. That's why you're in that chair. She tilted her head. You accessed the building at 3 a.m. But you were at a meeting in Seoul. I checked. Which means you had help. Someone local with technical access. The smile faltered. The kill team, 4 men. Military precision. Not cheap. Your family doesn't have that money. She stepped closer. So who's funding this? Who wants Jae-won dead? Silence. Jae-won moved to the medical cart. Picked up a syringe. Sodium pentothal. Truth serum. It won't hurt. Much. You wouldn't. I already destroyed your family's legacy. Do you really think I'll hesitate? Jae-won moved closer. Or I could let Miss Cole continue. She seems effective without chemical assistance. Imani crossed her arms. The timing bothers me. For years since your father's death. For years of feeding information. Why strike now? She paced. 3 steps left. 3 right. Something changed. Something made them accelerate. She stopped. What were you about to do? Before the dinner? Jae-won's eyes narrowed. Finalizing acquisition of a shipping route. West Coast to Seoul. Would have cut our competitors' access 40%. Who are your competitors? 3 major syndicates. The Sanjeongpa. The Chin family. And he stopped. And his jaw tightened. The Beck family. Out of Seoul. My father's original partners before the split. How bad was the split? Bad enough my grandfather and Beck Min-suk's father nearly killed each other. Min-suk is the current head. Ruthless. He's been trying to absorb our operations for a decade. Imani turned to Sujin. Beck Min-suk. That's who you're working with. Sujin's face confirmed it. He promised me my father's honor back. A seat at his table when the Jiamin-pa fell. All I had to do was give him access. Access to what? Everything. Financial records. Security protocols. Shipping manifests. I've been feeding him information for 4 years. Watching Jae-won build his empire on a foundation I was destroying. Jae-won's hand clenched around the syringe. For a second, Imani thought he might use it. Instead, he set it down. Walked to the door. Spoke Korean to the guard. Take him to the holding facility upstate. No contact. No phone. No windows. Food and water and the rest of his life to think about loyalty. The guards entered. Unbolted the chair. Dragged Sujin toward the door. He looked back. She'll be your death, Jae-won. That woman. You'll choose her over the empire and it'll destroy you. I know, Jae-won said. The door closed. Silence flooded the room. Imani counted heartbeats. You know, she finally said. Jae-won turned. That you're dangerous? Yes. That getting close to you will complicate everything? Yes. That I'm going to do it anyway? Also yes. Jae-won. Beck Min-suk won't stop. He knows you exist. Knows you're the reason his trap failed. You're not just a witness anymore. What am I? A target. His hand cupped her face. And the only person I trust to help me burn his empire to ash. Her breath caught. You want me involved. I want you safe. But since safe means leaving, and you won't, then I want you with me. Where I can protect you. Where I can use that brilliant mind to destroy the people who tried to kill us. This is insane. Yes. I'm a waitress with a math degree. You're a weapon who's been aiming at the wrong targets. Aim at Min-suk with me. She should say no. Okay. His smile was devastating. Okay. But I have conditions. I don't just observe. I'm part of the strategy. Equal partner. Agreed. And when this is over, we'll figure out what comes next. Together. The word hung. Promise and threat. His phone buzzed. His expression darkened. Hyun-woo's awake. Asking for you. The hospital was private. Exclusive. Discretion cost extra. Hyun-woo looked smaller in the bed. Pale. bandaged, but alive. His eyes tracked to Imani. You drove my car. I'm sorry. I crashed it a little. You survived. That's all that matters. He looked at Jae-won. Korean. Rapid. Urgent. Jae-won responded. They argued, not angry, but intense. Finally, Hyun-woo laughed, winced, touched his shoulder. He says you drive like a maniac, Jae-won translated. Hyun-woo switched to English. The men who shot me. Did you? Soo-jin confessed. Working with Baek Min-suk. For years of betrayal. Hyun-woo closed his eyes. Your father would have seen it. He was better at reading people. My father trusted Soo-jin completely. Your father was paranoid about everyone except his inner circle. That was his weakness. Hyun-woo looked at Imani. You see patterns. Have you noticed his? What pattern? He trusts too completely or not at all. No middle ground. It'll get him killed. Or her. Thank you for that assessment, Jae-won said dryly. You hired me to keep you alive. I'm doing my job. Hyun-woo looked at Imani again. He'll protect you with everything he has. But protection isn't partnership. Make sure he knows the difference. I'm standing right here. Good. Then you heard me. Keep her close, Sejangam. She's the only honest thing in your world. Don't waste it. His eyes closed. Painkillers pulling him under. They stood in the hallway. Fluorescent lights. Antiseptic smell. Soft beeping. He's right, Jae-won said. I don't know how to do this. Partnership. Equality. I was raised to command. To control. Never show weakness because weakness gets exploited. I'm not asking you to be weak. You're asking me to trust you. Is that the same thing in your world? Yes. Every person I've trusted has died or betrayed me. My mother. My father. Soo-jin. Trust is the fastest way to a grave. Then why ask me to help? Hospital sounds filled silence. Distant conversations. Wheels on linoleum. Someone crying down the hall. Because you're different. You had no reason to save me. No reason to stay. But you did. He turned to face her. And I can't figure out if that makes you the smartest person I've ever met or the most dangerous. Can it be both? His laugh was soft. Real. Yes. It absolutely can. I'm going to make mistakes, he said. Try to protect you when you don't need it. Make decisions without you because that's what I'm trained to do. And I'm going to call you out every time. I know. I'm counting on it. Her phone buzzed. The encrypted one. Marcus Reed. Her whole body went cold. What? Jae-won read her instantly. Marcus. The one who recruited me. He's texting. What does it say? She opened it. Heard you've been busy. Coffee. We should talk about your new employment situation. He knows. He knows I'm with you. Jae-won took the phone. Read it. His expression went flat. Marcus Reed. Former Marine. Private security contractor. He's been on my radar for 6 months. He works for Baek Min-suk. The hallway tilted. No. Marcus wouldn't. But the pieces clicked. He got me fired. Put me in position to need money. Recruited me knowing I'd see the decimal point. He set you up? The question is why. If Min-suk wanted the contract to succeed, why put you in the room? Imani's mind raced. Unless he didn't expect me to speak up. He thought I'd see it and stay quiet. Just report to Marcus. Give them proof the trap was in place. But you didn't stay quiet. No. I saved you instead. She looked at Jae-won. Which means I wasn't supposed to be the hero. I was supposed to be the witness. Or the scapegoat. If the contract succeeded and I realized what happened, who would I blame? The waitress in the room. Conveniently placed by a contractor with no obvious connection to Min-suk. I would have been the fall guy for my own good deed. Yes. Rage flooded her. Hot. Clean. The kind that sharpened. Text him back. What? Tell him I'll meet him. Absolutely not. He wants information. Let's give him some. False intel. Let him somewhere useful. She grabbed the phone. You said you wanted me as partner. Let me be one. Jae-won studied her. She watched him war with himself. Instinct to protect versus promise to trust. Finally, what do you want to say? She typed. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Mario's coffee. Same table as last time. Come alone or don't come at all. She showed him. Perfect. He took the phone. Added. And Marcus? I know who you work for. Let's talk about that. He hit send. Within seconds. See you there. Imani's heart hammered. What did I just do? You declared war. J1 pulled her close. Strategic. Whispered against her hair. Tomorrow, you wear a wire. I'll have 6 men positioned around the cafe. You get him talking, confirm Min-suk's involvement, and we use it to destroy them both. And if he tries to hurt me, then he dies before he touches you. I promise to protect you. I don't break promises. She pulled back. Partners. Partners. His phone buzzed. He cursed in Korean. What now? Min-suk just made a public statement. He's announced a merger with the Chin family. He's consolidating power. If that goes through, he'll control 60% of Pacific shipping routes. Can you stop it? Not legally. Then illegally? His smile was sharp. Dangerous. Now you're thinking like someone who belongs in this world. I'm thinking like someone tired of playing defense. Good. He pulled up a contact. Made a call. 3 sentences in Korean. We have a meeting. Tonight. Koreatown. My people need to see you. Need to know you're with me. What people? The ones who'll help us burn Min-suk's empire down. He offered his hand. Ready to meet the real Jimin Pa? She thought about Marcus. About Sujin. About everyone who'd underestimated her. She took his hand. Let's go to war. Koreatown at night was neon and noise. Barbecue smoke, K-pop, people moving through streets that never slept. J1 led her to a building that looked like a Noribang, karaoke bar. Tourists stumbling out drunk, college kids stumbling in. They went to the back entrance. Downstairs. Through a door requiring 3 locks. Into a room that felt like Seoul. Low table. Floor cushions. 12 people already seated. All watching her with expressions ranging from curious to hostile. J1 spoke Korean. Gestured to Imani. She caught her name. Heard Sujin. Saw recognition ripple through the room. A woman stood. 40-something. Elegant. Scar from temple to jaw. She spoke in accented English. You're the one who saw the decimal point. Yes. And you're the reason our Sejangnam is alive. Don't diminish it. I'm Yoon Ji-hai. I run our West Coast operations. Sujin was my mentor. My biggest mistake was not seeing his betrayal. You couldn't have known. That's generous. But incorrect. Ji-hai gestured to the seat beside J1. Sit. If you're going to help us destroy Baek Min-suk, you need to understand who we are. Imani sat. J1's hand found hers under the table. Brief squeeze. For the next hour, they talked. Introduced themselves. Explained their roles. Shipping. Investments. Legitimate businesses with illegitimate roots. A family bound by survival. And they listened when Imani explained pattern recognition. When she outlined how she'd identified Sujin. When she proposed using Marcus as unwitting intel. She's smart, Ji-hai said finally. In Korean, but Imani understood the tone. J1 responded. The room went quiet. Then Ji-hai smiled. He says you're more than smart. You're dangerous. And exactly what we need. She stood. Bowed slightly. Welcome to the Jimin Pa, Imani Cole. Try not to get us all killed. One by one, the others stood. Bowed. Accepted her. When the room emptied, only J1 and Ji-hai remained. You're falling for her, Ji-hai said. English. Direct. I know. It'll complicate things. I know. And you're doing it anyway. J1 looked at Imani. Yes. Ji-hai laughed. Shook her head. Your father would be horrified. Good. He was wrong about a lot of things. Maybe this is one more. Ji-hai left. The door closed. Imani and J1 sat in silence. The weight of what they'd done settling. No turning back now, she said. No. Are you scared? He considered. Terrified. Of Min-suk. Of losing you. The confession hung raw. Imani stood. Pulled him up. They stood facing each other. This space between worlds. Between who they were and who they were becoming. Then don't lose me, she said. I'm trying very hard not to. Try harder. She kissed him. Not gentle. Not tentative. Acclaiming. A promise. Her hands in his hair, his arms around her waist. Both holding on like the world was ending. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Jae-won pressed his forehead to hers. We're going to destroy him. Min-suk. Marcus. Everyone who tried to hurt you. I promise. We'll destroy them together. Together. And somewhere across the city, in a penthouse that rivaled Jae-won's. Baek Min-suk received a message. The girl survived. She's with Park now. He read it twice, then smiled. Perfect. Everything is going exactly as planned. Mario's coffee looked exactly the same. Same $12 lattes. Same Tribeca guilt. Same back corner table where Marcus Reed had recruited her into this nightmare. Imani sat with her back to the wall. J1's instruction. Always see the exits. Always see who's coming. The wire taped between her breasts itched. The device was smaller than her thumb, but it felt like it was screaming. She resisted the urge to touch it. Counted 3 breaths instead. Outside, J1 sat in a black sedan with tinted windows. Hyun-woo, discharged against medical advice, was positioned across the street in a coffee truck. For more men scattered throughout the block, invisible until they weren't. Her phone buzzed. J1, you don't have to do this. Yes, I do. If anything feels wrong, you leave. Say the word Columbia, and we extract you in 30 seconds. I know the plan. Imani, I'm not afraid of Marcus. I am. For you. She didn't know what to say to that. Didn't get the chance. Marcus walked in. He looked exactly the same. Tactical boots. Expensive watch. The kind of confidence that came from surviving Kabul and knowing how to hurt people efficiently. He saw her. Smiled. Like they were old friends catching up. Imani. He slid into the seat across from her. Didn't ask permission. You look good. Alive. I wasn't sure you would be. Disappointed. His smile didn't waver. Impressed. 3 trained operatives, and you walked away. That takes skill. Or luck. You've never believed in luck. You believe in patterns. Probabilities. Mathematics. He leaned back. So let's do the math. You interfered with a multi-million-dollar operation. Exposed a decade-long infiltration. Aligned yourself with Park Jae-won, who now knows his second-in-command was a traitor. How long do you think you have before this ends badly? For me? Or for the people who keep trying to kill me? There it is. He laughed. Genuine. That's the Imani I know. Brilliant. Stubborn. Completely unaware of how out of her depth she is. Then explain it to me. What? The depth. The plan. Why you recruited me. Why you work for Baek Min-suk. She said the name deliberately. Watched his expression. For just a second, something flickered. Surprise. Respect. J1 told you about Min-suk. I figured it out myself. You just confirmed it. Marcus's smile turned sharp. Dangerous. You really are smart. It's going to get you killed, but I've always admired the mind on you. We went to Columbia together. You were studying security systems. I was in applied math. We had coffee 3 times. You asked me out once. I said no. She tilted her head. When did Min-suk recruit you? Before Columbia or after? Before. No hesitation. Like he'd been waiting for someone to ask. I was 22. Fresh out of the Marines. Lots of skills, no direction, and a dishonorable discharge for something I didn't do. He shrugged. Min-suk found me. Offered me purpose. Money. A family that wouldn't throw me away when I became inconvenient. So you became his fixer. I became his investment. He put me through Columbia. Built my civilian credentials. Gave me a cover identity that could operate in legitimate security circles. Marcus leaned forward. And then he waited. For years, Imani. He waited for the perfect opportunity to use his investment. The contract. The contract was brilliant. A decimal point. So simple. So elegant. Park Jae-won signs, and the Jiamin-pa transfers majority control to the Sanjeong-pa, Min-suk's allies in Busan. Within 6 months, they'd have absorbed Park's entire operation. No war. No bloodshed. Just paperwork. But you needed a witness. Someone who could verify the contract was legitimate. Someone who could testify that J1 signed willingly. We needed a scapegoat, Marcus corrected. When Park eventually realized what he'd signed, and he would've, he's not stupid, he'd need someone to blame. Someone who'd been in the room. Someone who'd had opportunity to see the contract but stayed silent. The pieces clicked into place. Cold. Perfect. Devastating. You were going to kill me. After the contract was signed. Make it look like J1 did it for revenge. Not kill. Disappear. There's a difference. He said it casually, like discussing logistics. You'd have vanished. Park would have been the obvious suspect. His organization would have fractured under the investigation. The contract transfer would have gone through while everyone was distracted. Except I didn't stay silent. No, something almost like admiration in his voice. You opened your mouth and saved him. Completely destroyed 4 years of planning in 30 seconds. Do you have any idea how rare that is? How absolutely unpredictable? You're saying I'm a problem. I'm saying you're a complication. He pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. Imani's breath stopped. It was her mother's grave. Fresh flowers. And standing beside it, a woman, 30s, beautiful, taking a selfie. Who was that? Your half-sister. Well, half-sister-in-law. It's complicated. Marcus zoomed in on the photo. Her name is Naomi Cole Park. She's married to Park Jae-won's cousin. Lives in Seoul. Has 2 kids. Teaches piano. The world tilted. I don't have a sister. Your father had an affair. 28 years ago. Before he met your mother. The woman got pregnant. Had a daughter. Your father paid child support quietly for 18 years. Then she grew up, moved to Korea, and married into the Park family. Marcus set down the phone. She has no idea you exist. Neither does Jae-won. But Min-suk knows. And he's very good at weaponizing family. Imani's mind raced. Pattern recognition firing on all cylinders. This is a threat. You're telling me that if I don't back off, you'll hurt her. I'm telling you that your decisions have consequences beyond yourself. Marcus's voice was almost gentle, almost kind. You think you're helping Jae-won. You think you're on the right side of this. But you're not seeing the whole board. Then show me. Min-suk doesn't want to destroy the Jiminpa. He wants to absorb it, merge the organizations, end 40 years of conflict, create something stronger than either family alone. He paused. But Jae-won won't agree. His father's legacy, his pride, his honor, it all requires him to resist, to fight, to burn everything down rather than bend. So you try to take it from him. We tried to give him a graceful exit. Sign the contract. Wake up 6 months later and realize he'd been outmaneuvered. Retire quietly. Live out his days in luxury. Marcus shook his head. But you saved him. And now he knows. Which means this ends one of 2 ways. He surrenders, or he dies fighting. There's a third option. What's that? He wins. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. Imani. Sweet, brilliant Imani. You don't win against Baek Min-suk. He's been playing this game since before you were born. He has resources, connections, and patience you can't imagine. He also has enemies. Weaknesses. Patterns I can exploit. With what? Your math degree. Not mocking. Genuinely curious. What do you think you bring to this fight? The same thing I brought to Morrison and Reeves. To Apex Financial. To that dinner. She met his eyes. I see what other people miss. And Marcus? I see everything. His expression shifted. Not quite fear, but something close. The contract wasn't just about equity allocation, she continued. It was about shipping routes. Specifically, the West Coast to Seoul route that Jae-won was about to acquire. That route is worth billions over 10 years. But it's only valuable if you control both ends, the American ports and the Korean distribution. She leaned forward. Min-suk controls Korean distribution through the Sanjeong-pa alliance. But he doesn't control the American ports. Not fully. The Chun family in Hong Kong does. Which is why he just announced that merger. He's consolidating the other end. Marcus's jaw tightened. You've been busy. I've been paying attention. And here's what I noticed. The Chun merger announcement came after the contract failed. Not before. Which means it wasn't part of the original plan. It was a response. A response to what? To losing. The contract was supposed to give Min-suk everything quietly. When that failed, he had to accelerate. Go public with the Chun merger. Show strength. But public moves are risky. They create vulnerabilities. She pulled out her phone. Showed him a screenshot. Financial records. Shipping manifests. Transaction histories. Jae-won gave me access to everything. And I've spent 3 days analyzing. You know what I found? The Chun merger is leveraged. Heavily. Min-suk is financing it with loans backed by assets he doesn't fully control yet. If those loans get called, if someone applies the right pressure at the right time, the whole structure collapses. Marcus stared at the screen. His face had gone pale. Where did you get this? I told you. I see everything. She put the phone away. So here's the new math, Marcus. You tell Min-suk to back off. You stop trying to kill me. You leave J1 alone. Or I send this information to every regulatory agency, every competing syndicate, and every journalist who'd love to expose Korean organized crime. You'd destroy yourself in the process. Maybe, but I'd take Min-suk down with me. And unlike him, I don't have anything left to lose. The silence stretched. Outside, a car alarm went off. Someone laughed. The world kept moving, oblivious. Finally, Marcus smiled. It was a sad smile. Respectful. You really would do it. Burn it all down. In a heartbeat. Then I'll give you some free advice. From an old friend. He leaned in, voice dropping. Min-suk already knows about the financial vulnerability. He's known for weeks. This whole conversation, you threatening him with exposure? He's counting on it. Ice flooded her veins. What? You think you're the only one who sees patterns? Min-suk has been manipulating J1 for 4 years. Every move, every counter-move, all planned. Marcus stood. Including you. What are you talking about? The contract was supposed to fail, Imani. Sujin's betrayal was supposed to be discovered. You were supposed to save J1 and become his trusted partner. He buttoned his jacket. Because the only way to truly destroy Park J1 isn't to take his empire. It's to make him trust someone, fall for someone, depend on someone, and then take her away. Her blood went cold. You're the real trap. And you just walked both of you into it. He walked out. Imani sat frozen, her heart hammering, the wires still recording every word. Her phone buzzed. J1, did you get what we need? Her fingers trembled over the keys. Because Marcus was right about one thing. She'd just seen the whole board, and they were already in checkmate. My mom said I'd never reach 1K subscribers telling stories this raw. She said nobody wants to feel this much. If she's wrong, if stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Help me prove that truth and pain and healing still mean something. J1 was waiting when she exited. He pulled her into the sedan before she could speak. Hyunwoo drove. The city blurred past. Did he hurt you? J1's hands were on her face, checking. Always checking. No. But J1. We got everything. The wire transmitted perfectly. His confession about Min-suk. The contract plan. The scapegoat strategy. It's enough to. It's a trap. He stopped. What? All of it. Marcus. The contract. Sujin's betrayal. She grabbed his hands. Min-suk wanted the contract to fail. He wanted me to save you. He wanted you to trust me. That doesn't make sense. If he wanted. He wants to destroy you completely. Not your empire. You. Her voice cracked. And the fastest way to destroy you is through me. J1's face went blank. That terrible emptiness sliding into place. What did Marcus tell you? She told him. Everything. The half-sister. The Chun merger vulnerabilities. The theory that she was the real trap. When she finished, J1 was silent for a long moment. Do you believe him? He finally asked. I don't know. The math works. The pattern fits. But I also know Marcus is good at psychological warfare. At making people doubt themselves. Making them second-guess. She met his eyes. He could be telling the truth. Or he could be trying to drive a wedge between us. Make you not trust me. Do you trust me? The question hung between them. Yes, she said. I trust you. Then we operate on that. He pulled out his phone. Made a call. Ji-hi. I need full background on someone. Naomi Cole Park. Seoul. Married to my cousin Tae-young. I want to know everything. How they met. When. Who introduced them. He hung up. Looked at Imani. If Min-suk planted your half-sister in my family, it happened years ago. Before you even knew I existed. Which means this has been in motion longer than we thought. Or Marcus is lying. And there is no half-sister. He just showed me a random photo to make me paranoid. We'll know in an hour. Ji-hi is thorough. The car pulled up to J1's building. Different one from before. Taller. More secure. Inside, the penthouse was all glass and steel. War room, not home. 6 people were already waiting. Ji-hi. 3 men she didn't recognize. And her breath stopped. A woman. 30s. Beautiful. Standing beside a man who looked exactly like a younger J1. The woman from the photo. Naomi. Surprise, she said in perfect English. I hear we're sisters. The room was silent. Everyone watching. Waiting. Imani looked at Jae-won. You knew. You already knew about her. Ji-hai told me 3 days ago. The same day I had you investigated. He didn't apologize. Didn't explain. I wanted to confirm before I told you. Confirm what? That she's real. That the connection is real. That Min Suk didn't fabricate it. And Imani's voice was steel. Naomi stepped forward. I'm real. Your father was Daniel Cole. Mine too. He had an affair with my mother in Chicago. I grew up knowing about you. Knowing I had a half-sister I'd never meet. Why didn't you? Contact you? I tried. When I was 18, your mother told me to stay away. That you didn't need complications. That she'd kept you safe from our father's mistakes and didn't want me undoing that. Naomi's eyes were kind. Sad. So I respected her wishes. I moved to Korea. Started over. Met Tae-young at a piano bar in Seoul. Fell in love. Got married. Had kids. And never told anyone about me. Not until 3 months ago. When Baek Min-suk approached me at a charity gala and told me he knew. About you. About our connection. About the fact that you were working as a waitress in New York. She paused. He said he could reunite us. If I did one thing for him. Jae-won's voice was ice. What did he ask you to do? Convince Tae-young to support the Chun merger. Use my influence as his wife. Be his voice in family meetings. She looked at Jae-won. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a trap. I wanted to meet my sister. Did you? Imani asked quietly. Did I what? Support the merger. Do what Min-suk asked. Naomi's jaw tightened. Yes, I did. And I hate myself for it. But I wanted, her voice broke. I wanted a sister. Is that so wrong? The pain in her voice was real. Devastating. Imani didn't know what to feel. Rage. Grief. Betrayal. Wonder. How long have you known? She asked Jae-won. 3 days. Ji-hai discovered the connection the same day Soo-jin was arrested. And you didn't tell me. I was protecting you. From what? The truth. Her voice rose. You talk about trust. About partnership. But you kept this from me. You let me walk into that coffee shop not knowing Marcus could use her against me. If I'd told you, I would have been prepared. She was shaking now. Fury replacing shock. I would have known what I was walking into. Instead, I sat across from Marcus and let him manipulate me with information you already had. I was going to tell you. After we confirmed. When, Jae-won? When was the right time? Before or after I became the bait in Min-suk's trap? The room was silent. Everyone watching them unravel. Jae-won's face was empty. Remote. The monster sliding back into place. You're right, he said quietly. I should have told you. I broke our agreement. I made a decision without you. I protected instead of partnering. Yes, you did. I'm sorry. The apology hung between them. Imani closed her eyes. Counted 3 breaths. 3 heartbeats. 3 chances to walk away. She didn't take any of them. Don't do it again, she said. I won't. Promise me. I promise. She opened her eyes. Looked at Naomi. How much danger are you in? Min-suk knows I came here. Knows I warned you. She stopped. I don't know what he'll do. But my kids are in Seoul. Tae-young is there. If Min-suk retaliates. He won't. Jae-won pulled out his phone. Made 3 calls in rapid Korean. Then to Naomi. Your family is being moved to a secure location right now. Min-suk doesn't touch them. I promise. Tears streamed down Naomi's face. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank her. He nodded at Imani. This is what she does. She saves people who don't deserve saving. Imani looked at her half-sister. This woman who shared her father's eyes. Her mother's cheekbones. A history she'd never known existed. We'll figure this out, Imani said. Together. After we destroy Min-suk. Naomi laughed. It sounded broken. You sound so certain. I'm good at math. And the math says he just made a mistake. What mistake? Imani smiled. It was a terrible smile. Jae-won's smile. He thought I'd break when I learned the truth. That I'd doubt Jae-won. Doubt myself. Run away or fall apart. She looked at Jae-won. But I don't break. I burn. And I'm about to teach Baek Min-suk what happens when you weaponize someone's family. Ji-hai was smiling too. I like her. Everyone does, Jae-won said softly. That's the problem. He pulled Imani aside. Away from the others. Into a corner where glass met steel and the city glittered below. "Are we okay?" he asked. "No, but we will be. After you prove you meant that promise." "How do I prove it?" "By telling me everything. Right now. No more secrets. No more protection. Everything Min-suk has done. Everything you know. Everything you suspect." He searched her face, then nodded. "Okay. But Imani." "Yes. After I tell you, you might wish I'd kept protecting you. Try me." So he told her everything, and she was right. She wished she didn't know, but she listened anyway, because that's what partners do. J1 poured whiskey. Didn't offer her any. Just set the bottle between them and started talking. 4 years ago, my father died in his study. Heart attack. I found him at his desk. His hand was still holding a pen. There was a letter half written. To me. He showed her a photo. Korean characters. Beautiful handwriting. What does it say? J1. I'm sorry. I thought I could protect you from this. I was wrong. Trust no one. Not even. He stopped. That's where it ends. He died before he could finish. Not even who. I don't know. For 4 years, I've been trying to figure out who he was warning me about. J1 took a drink. The autopsy showed digoxin poisoning. Administered over weeks. Small doses that built up until his heart couldn't take it. Sujin had access. But he wasn't working alone. Someone had to provide the digoxin. Someone had to ensure the autopsy results disappeared. He looked at her. 3 people knew about that autopsy. Me, the medical examiner, and Jihai. Imani's blood went cold. You think Jihai? No. Jihai is loyal. But someone got to the medical examiner. 3 days after he filed his report, he retired. Moved to the Philippines. Bought a house he shouldn't have been able to afford. Min-suk paid him off. Min-suk has been dismantling my organization from the inside for 4 years. Sujin was just the most obvious plant. But there are others. He refilled his glass. I just don't know who. So you trust no one. I trust you. You kept Naomi from me. To protect you. Not because I doubted you. He met her eyes. There's a difference. Is there? Because from here, it feels like you're still trying to control things. Keep me in the dark for my own good. Would you have preferred I told you before we confirmed she was real? Before we knew if Min-suk had fabricated the whole thing? She wanted to hold on to her anger. But he was right. The uncertainty would have destroyed her. I hate that you're right, she said. I hate that I had to choose between honesty and protection. He set down his glass. But I'm learning. You called me out. I apologized. I promised to do better. That's growth. Baby steps. I'll take it. What else? What else has Min-suk done? Jo-won was quiet for a long moment. 3 years ago, I almost got married. The words hit like a punch. Her name was Seo-yeon. Journalist. Independent. Brilliant. She challenged me. Made me laugh. Made me feel human. His voice went soft. I proposed after 6 months. She said yes. What happened? She died. Car accident. Brakes failed on a mountain road outside Seoul. Her car went over a cliff. Oh my God. J1. The investigation ruled it mechanical failure. But I had the car examined privately. The brake line had been cut. Professionally. Imani's chest tightened. Min-suk. I couldn't prove it. But 6 weeks after Seo-yeon died, Min-suk sent me a gift. Expensive whiskey. And a note. My condolences on your loss. May you find peace in solitude. He was sending a message. He was telling me what happens when I let someone get close. So I didn't. For 3 years, I kept everyone at arm's length. No relationships. No vulnerability. No one who could be used against me. Until you. He looked at her. And now Min-suk knows. He knows I care about you. Which means he's already planning how to take you away. The weight of it settled over her. This wasn't just about empires and contracts. This was about a man who'd spent 4 years systematically destroying everything J1 loved. Why? She asked. What did your father do? My grandfather killed his father. 40 years ago. During the split. J1 stood. Walked to the window. The Jiamin-pa and the Beck family used to be one organization. But my grandfather wanted to expand to America. Beck's father wanted to stay in Korea. They disagreed. It escalated. Your grandfather won. My grandfather survived. Beck's father was killed. Min-suk was 8 years old. He watched his father bleed out in their family home. My grandfather told him, This is what happens when you stand in our way. Jesus. So Min-suk grew up, built his own empire, waited, and when he was strong enough, he came for us. Not with violence, with patience, with the kind of revenge that takes everything slowly enough that you feel every loss. Imani moved to stand beside him. Their reflections stared back from the dark glass. He killed your father, took your fiancée, infiltrated your organization, and now he's coming for me. Yes. So what do we do? I don't know. The admission cost him. For 4 years, I've been reacting, playing defense. But Min-suk is always 3 moves ahead. Always. Predictable. He looked at her. What? He's predictable. That's his weakness. Her mind raced. Pattern recognition firing. He uses the same playbook every time. Infiltrate. Wait. Strike at what you love. It worked with your father. Worked with Seo Yun. He thinks it'll work with me. It will work. Imani, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. I'm not Seo Yun. I'm not your father. I'm not someone who can be taken off the board with a cut-break line or slow poison. Everyone can be killed. I'm not talking about killing. I'm talking about using. She started pacing. Min-suk doesn't just want me dead. He wants me to destroy you first. That's what Marcus meant. I'm the trap. The weapon he's going to turn against you. Then we separate. I send you away. He can reach anywhere. Sending me away doesn't make me safe. It makes me isolated. Vulnerable. Then what? She stopped. Looked at him. We make him think the trap worked. I don't follow. Min-suk wants me to break you. To make you choose between me and your empire. To divide your focus. Make you weak. She stepped closer. So we let him think it's working. Imani. We stage a fight. Public. Ugly. Make it look like I'm leaving. Like you chose the empire over me. And then I disappear. Not to hide. To hunt. While he thinks he's won. While he's celebrating, I find every vulnerability in his organization. Every financial weakness. Every planet operative. And I hand you the keys to destroy him. Jae-won stared at her. You want to pretend to betray me. I want to make him lower his guard. Give him what he thinks he wants. And then take everything. It's too dangerous. Everything about this is dangerous. At least this way we're controlling it. He was quiet, examining it from every angle. If we do this, you'll be alone. I can't protect you if Min-suk thinks we're enemies. I don't need protection. I need purpose. She took his hands. Jae-won. I've spent my entire life being smart in a world that punished me for it. Getting fired for seeing too much. Being silenced for speaking truth. For once, I want to use everything I am as a weapon. Against someone who deserves it. If this goes wrong, it won't. If it does, then at least I'll go down fighting instead of hiding. Something in his expression cracked. The control fracturing just enough for her to see the man underneath. Terrified. Desperate. Completely in love with her. I can't lose you, he whispered. You won't. I can't lose you the way I lost her. The way I lost my father. I can't survive another person I love being taken from me. The word love hung between them. Unplanned. Undeniable. Say that again, she said. What? You said love. Say it again. He closed his eyes. I can't. Why not? Because saying it makes it real. And real things can be destroyed. Real things give Min-suk ammunition. Jae-won. She cupped his face. Waited until he opened his eyes. I love you too. His breath stopped. I love you. And I'm terrified. And I don't know if we'll survive this. But pretending I don't feel it, pretending you don't feel it, doesn't make us safer. It just makes us alone. Imani. Love is not a weakness. It's the reason we fight. The reason we survive. The reason we burn down empires instead of surrendering. She kissed him. Soft. Certain. So love me. Out loud. And let that make us stronger. He kissed her back. Desperate. Claiming. His hands in her hair, her arms around his neck. Both of them holding on like the world was ending. When they broke apart, his forehead pressed against hers. I love you, he whispered. God help us both, I love you. God help Min-suk, she corrected. Because he just gave us a reason to destroy him completely. They made plans until 3 a.m. Ji-hye joined them. Hyunwoo, Naomi, 3 others. The plan was simple. Dangerous. Perfect. In 3 days, there would be a gala. All the major families would attend. including Minsuk. Imani and J1 would arrive together. And then, in front of everyone, they'd detonate. A fight. Public. Vicious. She'd accuse him of using her. He'd accuse her of being a liability. She'd storm out. Vanish. Minsuk would think he'd won. And that's when Imani would strike. You'll need resources, Jihai said. I'll use Marcus. He thinks I'm vulnerable. Thinks I might turn if pushed hard enough. If you contact Marcus. He contacts me. Tomorrow. I pretend to be shaken. Uncertain. Questioning whether I made the right choice. He'll report back to Minsuk. Exactly. And Minsuk will think the seeds of doubt are planted. Hyunwoo shook his head. This is the most reckless plan I've ever heard. Good, Imani said. Minsuk won't see it coming. They talked through details. Cover stories. Emergency extraction plans. By dawn, they had something that looked almost like hope. Everyone left. Just Imani and J1, watching sunrise paint the city gold. Are you scared? He asked. Terrified. Me too. She took his hand. My mother used to say fear and excitement feel the same to the body. The only difference is what story you tell yourself about what's coming. What story are you telling yourself? She thought about Marcus and Minsuk and every person who'd ever underestimated her. About getting fired for telling the truth. About a decimal point that changed everything. About a man who'd learned to trust her even when trust meant vulnerability. I'm telling myself this is the moment I stop being a victim of other people's wars and start being the weapon that ends them. J1 pulled her close. Kissed the top of her head. Then let's go to war? Together. 2 days later, Marcus texted. You okay? Haven't heard from you since the coffee shop. Just checking in. Imani stared at the message. J1 stood beside her. This is it. Once I respond, we're committed. You don't have to. Yes, I do. She typed. Not okay. Can we talk? Not on the phone. Somewhere quiet. 3 dots appeared. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Brooklyn Bridge Park. Bench near the carousel. She showed J1. I'll have people positioned. No. If he sees surveillance, this falls apart. I go alone. Imani. Alone. You promised. Partnership. Trust. She watched him war with himself. Every instinct screaming to protect her. Finally. Okay. But you wear a wire. And if anything feels wrong, you say Columbia and I extract you. Deal. She kissed him. He kissed back like he was memorizing the taste of her. I love you, he said. I love you too. Now, let me go burn the world down for you. Brooklyn Bridge Park at 10 a.m. was tourists and joggers. Imani sat on the bench, wearing the wire taped between her breasts. 3 breaths. 3 heartbeats. 3 chances to run. Didn't take any of them. Marcus appeared. Sat beside her. Stared out at the East River. You look tired, he finally said. I haven't been sleeping. Guilty conscience. Complicated one. She turned her ring. Let him see the anxiety. Was it true? What you said? About Minsuk planning all of this. Every word. So I'm just a weapon. A trap. Something to destroy J1 from the inside. You could be. Or you could choose differently. What do you mean? Minsuk doesn't want you dead, Imani. He wants you working for him. He's been impressed since the decimal point. Imagine what you could do with real resources. Real support. A family that values brilliance instead of punishing it. The offer hung between them. Imani let herself look tempted. Let doubt flicker across her face. J1 loves me, she said quietly. J1 loves what you represent. Salvation. Redemption. The proof he's not his father. Marcus's voice was gentle. But love in this world is a liability. You've seen what Minsuk does to people J1 loves. Do you really want to be next? I don't want to die. Then don't. Walk away. Before the gala. I can protect you. Get you out of the city. Set you up somewhere safe with a new identity and enough money to never worry again. She let the silence stretch. Let him think she was considering. What would I have to do? Marcus smiled. Just tell me one thing. The financial vulnerabilities you mentioned. The Chun merger leverage points. Were those real? Or were you bluffing? And there it was. The real question. Minsuk didn't know if she'd actually found weaknesses. He needed confirmation. Imani looked at Marcus. This man who'd recruited her, manipulated her, set her up to be a scapegoat. She made her choice. They were real, she said. Every word. I can bring down the entire merger with 3 phone calls and a leaked document. Marcus's eyes gleamed. Would you? For the right price? For safety? For a life where I'm not waiting for brake lines to be cut? She met his gaze. Yeah, I would. Then we have a deal. He stood, offered his hand. She took it, shook, sealed her fate. The gala is in 2 days, Marcus said. Go. Play the loyal partner. And when the moment comes, when Min-suk makes his move, you do nothing. You let it happen. And afterward, you walk away with me. And Jae-won will finally learn what his father learned. That love is the fastest way to a grave. He walked away. Imani sat alone, heart hammering, wire recording every word. She'd done it. Convinced Marcus she was breakable. Convinced him she could be turned. Given Min-suk exactly what he wanted to hear. Now all she had to do was survive the next 48 hours. And pray that Jae-won's trust in her was stronger than Min-suk's trap. The gala was at the plaza. Old money and new crime in $5,000 gowns. Imani wore red. Jae-won had sent it. Valentino, silk that moved like water, a slit up the thigh that was just this side of dangerous. It came with a note in his handwriting. War paint. Wear it like armor. She did. They arrived together. His hand on the small of her back. Cameras flashing. Whispers rippling through the crowd like a shockwave. That's her. The waitress. The one who saved him. Inside, crystal chandeliers. String quartet playing something classical. Waitstaff circulating with champagne that cost more than Imani used to make in a week. You ready? Jae-won murmured against her ear. No. Good. Neither am I. He kissed her temple. Remember. Make it ugly. Make it public. Make it believable. She turned in his arms. Looked up at him. I love you. I love you too. That's why this is going to work. Ji-hai approached. Elegant in midnight blue. He's here. East side. Watching. Imani didn't look. Didn't need to. She could feel Min-suk's attention like a physical weight. How long do we wait? She asked. Until he thinks he's won, Jae-won said. Until he's relaxed enough to make a mistake. They circulated. Jae-won introduced her to people whose names she'd never remember. Shipping magnates. Real estate developers. Politicians who smiled too wide and shook hands like they were sealing deals. And criminals. So many criminals dressed as businessmen. Imani played her part. Brilliant mathematician turned unlikely partner. She laughed at the right moments. Sipped champagne she didn't taste. Let Jae-won's hand rest possessively on her waist. And she watched. Min-suk was exactly what she expected. 50-something. Handsome in that distinguished way that came from expensive suits and even more expensive dentistry. He moved through the crowd like he owned it. Probably did. He caught her eye once. Smiled. Raised his glass in acknowledgement. She looked away first. He's enjoying this, she muttered to Jae-won. He thinks he's about to win. Let him enjoy it. Jae-won's jaw was tight. It'll make the fall sweeter. 30 minutes in, Marcus appeared. He didn't approach. Just positioned himself near the bar. Watching. Waiting. The signal. It was time. Jae-won's phone buzzed. He checked it. His face went hard. Problem? Imani asked. Loud enough for nearby people to hear. We need to talk. Privately. About what? Not here. He guided her toward a side room. Private. Quieter. But still visible through glass doors. Still observable. Perfect. What's wrong? She asked once the door closed. Ji-hai just sent me something. Financial records. Someone's been accessing our offshore accounts. Who? I don't know. But the access codes, he looked at her. They match the ones I gave you. 3 days ago. The accusation hung between them. Imani's face went cold. You think I'm stealing from you? I think someone is using your access. And I need to know if it's you or if you've been compromised. Compromised? Are you serious right now? $2 million moved yesterday. Another 3 this morning. All through accounts only you and I can access. His voice was hard. Controlled. The Sejangnam, not the man who'd whispered love against her skin. So yes, I'm serious. I haven't touched those accounts. I haven't even looked at them since you gave me access. Then how do you explain the transfers? I don't know. Maybe someone hacked. No one hacks our systems. They're airtight. Which means it's either you or you told someone the codes. The words hit like a slap. You think I'm working with Min-suk? Not a question, a realization. You think I've been playing you this whole time. I think I gave you access to everything, and now money is disappearing. You tell me what I'm supposed to think. She stepped back. Let hurt flood her face. Not hard. The hurt was real, even if the fight was staged. Because some part of her wondered if he actually doubted. If this performance was covering real suspicion. I saved your life, she said quietly. And I'm grateful. But gratitude doesn't mean blind trust. We're supposed to be partners. Partners don't cost me $5 million in 2 days. I didn't touch your money. Each word was sharp, precise. But clearly you've already decided I'm guilty. I'm deciding that we have a problem. And until we solve it. Until you solve it, she corrected. Because I'm done. I'm done being doubted. Done being treated like a liability. Done being the brilliant girlfriend who's useful until she becomes inconvenient. Imani. No. You know what? Marcus was right. J1 went very still. What did you say? Marcus. He warned me. Said you'd do this. Said love in your world was a weapon. Something to be used and discarded when it stopped serving you. When did you talk to Marcus? 2 days ago. He reached out. Said he could get me out. Give me a life where I wasn't waiting to be killed or accused of theft. Her voice rose. Deliberately. And I said no. I said I trusted you. I said we were partners. If you talk to Marcus. What? I'm a traitor? I'm the enemy. She laughed. It sounded broken. You're so paranoid you can't even see when someone's trying to help you. Through the glass doors, people were watching now. Conversation stopping. Eyes turning toward the drama unfolding. Perfect. Lower your voice, J1 said. Why? Afraid people will see you're not the untouchable Sejangnam? Afraid they'll know you're just a man who pushes away everyone who gets close. This isn't about. This is exactly about that. Your father. Seo Yun. Me. You let people in just far enough to use them, then cut them loose the second it gets complicated. She grabbed her clutch. Well, congratulations. You've officially pushed me away. Where are you going? Anywhere but here. Imani. We need to. We don't need to do anything. You need to figure out who's actually stealing from you. And I need to figure out why I thought loving you was a good idea. She walked out. Into the main ballroom. Every eye on her. Whispers erupting like wildfire. J1 followed. Imani, wait. Don't. She turned. Let tears streak her makeup. Real tears, because pretending to lose him hurt, even when she knew it was fake. Just don't. Let me explain. Explain what? That you accused me of theft? That you trusted me with your heart, but not your empire? That I was stupid enough to think I mattered more than your paranoia? The room was silent now. Everyone watching. Recording. This would be all over the underworld by morning. You matter. No, I don't. And that's fine. I'm used to it. She stepped back. I'm used to being brilliant and underestimated. Used to being fired for seeing too much. Used to being punished for refusing to stay quiet. What I'm not used to is being in love with someone who can't decide if I'm his partner or his enemy. She turned to leave. J1 grabbed her wrist. Gentle. Desperate. Please, he whispered. Low enough only she could hear. Don't do this. For a second, just a second, she almost broke character. Almost said it's okay. It's fake. I'm coming back. Instead, she pulled free. I already did. She walked out of the plaza. Into the New York night. Into the character of a woman betrayed. Behind her, the whispers became roars. And in the crowd, Baek Min-suk smiled. Marcus found her 3 blocks away. Sitting on the steps of a closed boutique, head in her hands, shaking. Not all of it was performance. Imani. He sat beside her. Didn't touch. I'm sorry. You were right. You were right about everything. I wish I wasn't. She looked up. Let him see the devastation. He accused me of stealing. In front of everyone. Like I was. Her voice cracked. Like I was nothing. You're not nothing. Then why does everyone treat me like I am? Marcus pulled out a handkerchief. Offered it. She took it. Wiped her eyes. The offer still stands, he said quietly. New life. New identity. Safety. What about the people trying to kill me? They were trying to kill you because you were with Park. You're not with him anymore. That changes things. Min-suk will just let me walk away. Min-suk respects strength. You just publicly humiliated the head of the Jiaminpa. That takes courage. He'll see value in that. She laughed. Bitter. Value. That's all I am to any of you. A value calculation. That's not. It's exactly that. J1 valued me until I became a liability. Now you're valuing me for what? My math skills. My ability to find patterns. She stood. I'm tired of being valuable. I just want to be free. Then let me help you get free. She studied him. This man who'd orchestrated her recruitment, her manipulation, her current pain. This man who thought he'd won. Okay, she said finally. Help me. The safe house was in Queens. Unremarkable. Perfect cover. Marcus set her up with a laptop. Encrypted phone. Account with $50,000. First installment, he said. More once you deliver. Deliver what? Everything you know about Park's operations. Financial records. Security protocols. Names of his people. Everything. And then you disappear. New identity. We're thinking West Coast. Maybe Seattle. Somewhere you can start over. What about Minsuk? What about him? Does he know I'm here? Marcus smiled. He knows you left Park. That's enough for now. The rest comes later. After you've proven yourself. How do I do that? By giving us something we can use. Something that proves you've truly cut ties. He pulled up a file on the laptop. Park has a shipment coming in 3 days. Port of Newark. It's off book. Completely invisible. But you have the manifests. The access codes. Everything we need to intercept it. Imani looked at the screen. At the file Marcus thought would prove her betrayal. The file J1 had created specifically for this moment. If I give you this, she said slowly, Park loses millions. His reputation. Maybe his life. Yes. And I get my freedom. Yes. She turned to Marcus. Let him see the woman who'd counted 3 breaths before speaking truth. Who'd been fired for refusing to stay silent. Who'd saved an empire with a decimal point. Then send it, she said. Send it to Minsuk. Tell him I'm in. Marcus's smile was triumphant. Welcome to the winning side. He didn't see her smile after he left. Didn't see her pull out the secondary phone J1 had given her. Didn't see her text. He took the bait. Shipment intercept planned for 3 days. Sending you the route they'll use. J1's response was immediate. Are you safe? Yes. Missing you. Missing you more. This is almost over. Then we destroy him? Then we destroy him. She set down the phone. Looked around the safe house. At the freedom Marcus thought he'd given her. At the cage he'd actually walked into. Imani Cole had spent her entire life being underestimated. She was done being underestimated. Now she was the trap. Across the city, J1 stood in his penthouse. Alone. Jihai and Hyunwoo had left. The gala was over. The performance complete. His phone showed the text from Imani. Missing you. He touched the screen like he could touch her through it. Sajangam. Jihai's voice from the doorway. It worked. Minsuk's people are already moving. They think they've won. Good. Are you all right? No. He set down the phone. But I will be. When she comes home. She will. You sound certain. I am. Because she's not doing this for revenge or money or freedom. Jihai smiled. She's doing it for love. And that's the most dangerous weapon of all. J1 looked out at the city. At the lights that hid so much darkness. Somewhere out there, the woman he loved was pretending to betray him. Somewhere out there, his enemy thought he'd won. Somewhere out there, the trap was closing. And for the first time in 4 years, Park J1 felt something that wasn't grief or rage or cold emptiness. He felt hope. You've come this far through heartbreak, betrayal, devastation. If this story is healing something in you, subscribing helps it heal someone else. My mom's still watching my subscriber count. The climax is coming. Subscribe. Let's finish this together. The port of Newark at 2 a.m. was industrial darkness. Container stacks towering like steel mountains. The smell of salt water and diesel fuel. Fog rolling off the water thick enough to choke on. Imani stood in the shadows with Marcus, watching the dock through binoculars. Her heart was doing that thing. 3 beats. Pause. 3 more. Not fear this time. Anticipation. There. Marcus pointed. A cargo ship. Hanjin Seoul. Right on schedule. How many men does Minsuk have positioned? 12. Armed. Positioned around the perimeter. Once the container is unloaded, we intercept. Clean. Quick. Park won't even know what happened until it's done. And the container has what? Weapons? Drugs? Does it matter? I'm curious what I just helped you steal. Marcus lowered his binoculars. Looked at her. You're different tonight. How so? Calmer. Like you've made peace with this. Maybe I have. Maybe I'm tired of being afraid. She met his eyes. Or maybe I just want to see it through. One way or another. He studied her for another moment. Then nodded. Fair enough. The container was being unloaded. Massive. Red. Marked with shipping codes that meant nothing to most people, but everything to those who knew where to look. Imani watched the codes. Smiled. Because J1 had been very specific when he'd created this shipment. Very deliberate. The codes spelled out a message in Korean. For anyone smart enough to read them. Humjung. Trap. Moving in. Marcus set into his calm. All teams. Positions. Men emerged from shadows. 12, just like he'd said. Tactical gear. Weapons. They moved with military precision toward the container. Too focused on the prize to notice the perimeter closing behind them. Imani counted. 3 breaths. 3 heartbeats. 3 seconds until. Lights. Blinding. Flooding the dock from every direction. FBI. Drop your weapons. Chaos erupted. Marcus spun. What the fuck? It's a setup, Imani said calmly. You walked into a setup. His hand went to his weapon. She was faster. Pulled the gun J1 had given her. Small. Fitted perfectly in her clutch, and aimed it at his chest. Don't, she said. You bitch. You played me. No. I played Min-suk. You were just collateral damage. Around them, Min-suk's men were dropping. Some surrendering. Some trying to fight. Federal agents swarming like ants. But these weren't real federal agents. They were J1's people in FBI gear. A beautiful piece of theater designed to do exactly one thing. Make Min-suk's operation visible, documented, recorded, and standing at the edge of the light, watching it all unfold, was Park J1. He looked at Imani. Even from 50 feet away, she could see his expression. Relief. Pride. Love. She lowered her weapon. Smiled. Hi, she mouthed. He was moving before she could blink, closing the distance between them in long strides. He reached her and pulled her into his arms so hard it hurt. Kissed her like he'd been drowning and she was air. You're okay? He murmured against her mouth. You're okay. I'm okay. Did you doubt me? Every second of the last 3 days. Liar. Terrified liar. He pulled back, cupped her face. Don't ever do that again. Make you trust me? Make me live without you. His eyes were intense. Desperate. 3 days felt like 3 years. It's over now. Not yet. He looked past her. At Marcus, being restrained by 2 of J1's men. We still have work to do. They brought Marcus to the warehouse. Same one where Sujin had been interrogated. Different chair. Same outcome. Where's Min-suk? J1 asked. Calm. Controlled. The Sejangnam in full force. Marcus laughed. Blood on his teeth from where he'd fought back during capture. You think I'll tell you? I think you will. Eventually. The question is how much this hurts first. Fuck you, Park. J1 pulled out his phone. Showed Marcus the screen. This is live footage from your apartment. Your sister's visiting from Boston. She's in your living room right now. Making coffee. She has no idea 12 men are positioned around your building. Marcus went pale. You wouldn't touch her? No. I'm not Min-suk. I don't hurt innocent people to make points. J1 leaned in. But I will make sure she knows exactly who her brother works for. What he's done. I'll make sure the FBI, the real FBI, gets every piece of evidence of your crimes. And then I'll make sure she has to testify against you to avoid being charged as an accessory. She doesn't know anything. Then you should probably tell me where Min-suk is. Before I decide ignorance isn't a good enough excuse. The silence stretched. Imani watched Marcus war with himself. Loyalty versus love. The same choice everyone in this world eventually faced. Love won. Incheon, Marcus said quietly. South Korea. He's been there for 2 days. Flew out the morning after the gala. He knew this was coming. J1's jaw tightened. He knew about the setup? He suspected. After Imani gave us the shipment intel, it felt too easy. Too clean. So he sent me to confirm while he disappeared. Marcus looked at Imani. He played us both. No, Imani said. He played you. We played him. How? She pulled out her phone, showed him the screen. Flight manifests, immigration records, hotel reservations. All for Beck Min-suk. All tracked, all documented. He thinks he escaped, she said. Thinks he's safe in Incheon. Thinks the worst that happened is he lost 12 men and a shipment of guns. What did he actually lose? Jae-won smiled. It was a terrible smile. Everything. The plane to Seoul left at dawn. Private jet. Jae-won's. Imani had never been on a private plane before. It was exactly as obscene as she'd imagined. You're staring, Jae-won said. He was on his laptop. Working. Always working. I'm appreciating the absurdity of my life. She buckled into the seat across from him. 6 weeks ago, I was a waitress. Now I'm flying to Korea to help destroy a crime boss. Not help. Lead. He closed the laptop. This is your operation, Imani. Your plan. Your trap. I'm just the muscle. Somehow I doubt that. I'm serious. You saw the pattern. You identified the weakness. You gave Min-suk exactly what he needed to believe his trap had worked. He leaned forward. You're the reason we're winning. We haven't won yet. We will. She wished she had his certainty. But 3 days alone in that safe house had taught her something. Min-suk was patient. Precise. He'd been planning this for 4 years. They'd been planning for 3 days. What if he's 3 moves ahead again? She asked quietly. Then we adapt. Improvise. Survive. Jae-won stood, crossed to her seat, knelt in front of her so they were eye level. But Imani? He's never fought someone like you before. Someone who sees patterns like breathing. Someone who turns his own weapons against him. I'm just. Don't diminish yourself. Not now. Not ever. His hands covered hers. You're the most dangerous person in this equation. And Min-suk is about to learn that. The plane lifted off. New York disappearing beneath them, heading toward a confrontation 40 years in the making. Imani looked at Jae-won. This man who'd started as a stranger, became an obligation, turned into a partner, transformed into love. When this is over, she said, what happens to us? What do you want to happen? I don't know. I've been so focused on surviving I haven't thought about after. Then think now. She considered, really considered. I want normal, or as close to normal as we can get. I want coffee in the morning without checking for poison. I want to sleep without nightmares. I want to use my brain for something other than warfare. What would you use it for? I don't know. Teaching? Consulting? Maybe I'd finally write that paper on financial pattern recognition I've been thinking about for years. She laughed. God, that sounds boring. It sounds perfect. What about you? What do you want? Jae-won was quiet for a long moment. I want to hear you laugh without wondering if it's the last time. I want to wake up next to you without mentally cataloging exit routes. He stopped. Started again. I want to learn how to be human again. And I want to learn it with you. Her throat tightened. That's not boring at all. No. It's terrifying. But the good kind of terrifying. Is there a good kind? Yes. The kind that feels like hope. She kissed him. Soft. Slow. The kind of kiss that wasn't about claiming or passion, but about promise. About after. When they broke apart, she whispered, let's survive this. And then let's be boring together. Deal. Incheon was rain and neon. They landed at 11 p.m. local time. Ji-hai was waiting with 3 cars and a tactical team. He's at the Grand Hyatt, she said. Presidential suite. For bodyguards. He's been meeting with the Chun family representatives. Finalizing the merger. He's proceeding like nothing happened, Jae-won said. Because to him, nothing did. He lost 12 men and a weapons shipment. That's a setback, not a defeat. He still has the Chun merger. He still thinks Imani betrayed you. He still thinks he's winning. Then let's show him he's wrong. They drove through rain-slicked streets. Imani watched the city blur past. Seoul. Her half-sister lived here. Naomi. They'd texted twice in the last 3 days. Awkward. Tentative. Testing the edges of a relationship that shouldn't exist, but did. Stay safe, Naomi had written that morning. My kids want to meet their aunt someday. Imani had stared at that text for 10 minutes before responding. I will. I promise. Now she had to keep that promise. The Grand Hyatt was luxury incarnate. They entered through the service entrance. Ji-hai's people had already secured the route, bribed the right staff, disabled the right cameras. Money and power opened doors. Even in Korea. They took the elevator to the top floor. Presidential suite. The doors required a key card. Jihai had one. How? Imani asked. Min-suk's bodyguard has a gambling problem and a girlfriend who's very persuasive. Jihai smiled. We made it worth his while to take a long dinner break. The card worked. The door opened. Inside was exactly what Imani expected. Opulence. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Furniture that cost more than cars. And sitting at a desk, working on a laptop, was Baek Min-suk. He looked up, saw them, didn't move, just smiled. J1. Miss Cole. I was wondering when you'd arrive. Imani's blood went cold. You knew we were coming. Of course I knew. You think I'd finalize a merger without considering all variables? Without planning for the possibility that your little performance at the gala was exactly that, a performance? J1 moved forward. 2 of his men flanked him. Where are your bodyguards? I sent them away. This conversation doesn't require witnesses. Min-suk closed his laptop. Stood. Please. Sit. We have much to discuss. We're not here to discuss. We're here to end this. And what? Our family's war. That ended 40 years ago, J1. Your grandfather won. My father died. Everything since has been aftermath. Aftermath. J1's voice was ice. You killed my father. Murdered my fiancée. Infiltrated my organization. Tried to steal my empire. You call that aftermath. I call that justice. Min-suk's voice didn't rise. Didn't need to. Your grandfather told me. This is what happens when you stand in our way. So I learned. I waited. And when I was strong enough, I showed your family what happens when you murder mine. My father didn't kill yours. No. But he benefited from it. Built an empire on my father's blood. Lived in luxury while my mother worked 3 jobs to feed me. Min-suk walked to the window. Looked out at Seoul. So yes, I took your father. Took your fiancé. Tried to take your empire. Because that's what justice looks like when the law doesn't care. Justice. Imani stepped forward. You killed innocent people. Seo Yun had nothing to do with what happened 40 years ago. Neither did my father. But he died anyway. Collateral damage in someone else's war. Min-suk turned. Looked at her. You of all people should understand, Miss Cole. How many times have you been collateral damage? Fired for telling the truth. Punished for being brilliant. Used by men who valued your mind, but not your humanity. The words hit harder than they should have. Don't, she said. Don't what? Tell you the truth? You and I are the same. We're the ones who see patterns. Who refuse to accept injustice. Who fight back when the world tells us to stay silent. We're nothing alike. Aren't we? You turned J1's own weapons against him. Made Marcus believe you'd betrayed. Orchestrated a trap so elegant even I almost missed it. He smiled. That takes a specific kind of brilliance. The dangerous kind. The difference is I use it to protect people. You use it to destroy them. I use it to balance scales that have been tipped for 40 years. If that's destruction, so be it. J1 moved between them. Enough. This ends tonight. You surrender. Face justice. Or what? You kill me? Here? In a hotel with 100 witnesses and security footage? Min-suk laughed. You're not your grandfather, J1. You don't have the stomach for murder. You're right. I don't. J1 pulled out his phone. Showed Min-suk the screen. But I have something better. Evidence. Financial records. Communications. Testimony from Marcus Reed and Min Soo-jin. Everything you've done for the last 4 years. Documented. Verified. Ready to be handed to Korean prosecutors. Min-suk's smile faltered. Just slightly. You're bluffing. Am I? J1 gestured to Imani. Show him. Imani pulled out her laptop. Opened files. Spreadsheets. Communications. The financial vulnerabilities she'd found in the Chun merger weren't just vulnerabilities. They were crimes. Money laundering. Tax evasion. Fraud. All documented. All traceable to Min-suk. The Chun merger was brilliant, Imani said. Complex. Multi-layered. Almost impossible to untangle. Except I'm very good at untangling. And what I found isn't just a merger. It's a criminal enterprise disguised as legitimate business. She turned the laptop to face him. You've been using Chun family shipping routes to move drugs. Weapons. People. The merger wasn't about expanding power. It was about legitimizing operations that would have gotten you arrested in a heartbeat. Min-suk stared at the screen. His face went carefully blank. This proves nothing. It proves everything. And in 3 hours, unless you agree to our terms, this goes to prosecutors in Seoul, Hong Kong, and New York. Simultaneously, you'll be wanted in 3 countries by sunrise. What terms? J1 stepped forward. You dismantle your organization. Transfer all assets to a holding company we control. Retire. Publicly. Permanently. You get to live out your days in peace. Your family stays safe. But you never come after mine again. And if I refuse, then we release everything. You spend the rest of your life in prison. Your family's name becomes synonymous with corruption. And the Chin family, who won't appreciate being exposed, will likely kill you before the prosecutors do. The silence stretched. Rain against windows. The distant sound of Seoul traffic. Min-suk looked at J1. Then at Imani. You really did this? Found all of this in 3 days. I'm very motivated, Imani said. You could have worked for me. I would have valued you. Protected you. Given you resources beyond. I don't want to work for you. I don't want your resources. I want you to stop destroying people I love. Something flickered in Min-suk's eyes. Not quite respect. Not quite defeat. Something in between. Your grandfather was right about one thing, he said quietly. This is what happens when you stand in our way. He pulled out his phone, made a call, spoke in rapid Korean. When he hung up, he looked at J1. It's done. My lawyers will have transfer documents ready by morning. The Chin merger is dissolved. My operations are yours. Just like that. Just like that. Min-suk smiled. It was a sad smile. I'm 63 years old, J1. I've spent 40 years planning revenge. And in 3 days, a waitress with a mathematics degree dismantled everything I built. That's not defeat. That's destiny telling me it's time to stop. He walked to the door. Stopped. Look back. Take care of her, he said. Women like that, brilliant, dangerous, loyal, are rarer than empires. I know, J1 said. Min-suk left. The door closed. Silence. Imani's legs gave out. She sank into a chair. Started laughing. Couldn't stop. Is this real? She asked. Did that actually just happen? It happened. J1 knelt in front of her. You did it. You ended a 40-year war with a laptop in 3 days. We did it. No. You did it. I was just the muscle, remember? She pulled him close. Kissed him. Tasted relief and disbelief and something that felt dangerously like joy. It's over, she whispered. It's over, he confirmed. And for the first time in 4 years, Park J1 felt the weight lift. 6 months later, Imani woke to sunlight and the smell of coffee. Not the burned diner kind. The good kind. The kind J1 made in the French press he'd insisted on buying even though she'd told him it was pretentious. She was right. It was pretentious. It was also perfect. She padded into the kitchen, their kitchen, in the brownstone in Brooklyn they'd bought 3 months ago. Compromise between his world and hers. Close enough to Manhattan for business. Far enough for breathing room. J1 stood at the counter, wearing sweatpants and a Columbia t-shirt she'd given him as a joke. He wore it unironically now. Said it reminded him of the moment everything changed. Morning, he said without turning around. How did you know I was awake? You count your steps. 3 from the bedroom door to the hallway. 3 down the hall. 3 into the kitchen. He turned. Smiled. I noticed patterns too. She crossed him. Wrapped her arms around his waist. Pressed her face against his back. Bad dream, he asked. No. Good one. That's why I woke up confused. He turned in her arms. Kissed her forehead. Want to talk about it? I dreamed I was teaching. Columbia. A lecture hall full of students. I was explaining forensic accounting and pattern recognition, and nobody was firing me. That's not a dream. That's next month. She pulled back. Looked up at him. I know. It's just scary. Terrifying. The good kind. Yeah, the good kind. He handed her coffee. They stood at the window, looking out at their street. Normal people doing normal things. Dog walkers. Commuters. A kid riding a bike. 6 months ago, this would have felt impossible. Jihai called. J1 said. The transition is complete. Min-suk's assets are fully transferred. The organization is restructured. Legitimate businesses only. How does it feel? Strange. Good. Like I'm my father's son, but not his copy. He paused. He would have hated it. The legitimacy. The compromise. The peace. Good thing you're not him. Good thing I have you to remind me. Her phone buzzed. Text from Naomi. Kids are asking when Aunt Imani is visiting. Taeyong says anytime. I say soon. Make me right. Imani showed J1. We could go next month, he said. After your first lecture. Make it a celebration. Meeting my half-sister's family in Korea. 6 months ago that sentence would have sounded insane. 6 months ago, you were a waitress and I was a crime boss. Insane is relative. She laughed. Typed back, soon. I promise. Tell the kids their aunt is bringing Columbia sweatshirts. Naomi's response was immediate. They'll love you. I already do. Something warm bloomed in Imani's chest. Family. Unexpected. Complicated. Real. What about Marcus? She asked. Any word? J1's expression tightened. He took a plea deal. 20 years. He'll be out in 12 with good behavior. His sister's safe. Testified against Min-suk's operation but wasn't charged. And Min-suk. Retired. Officially. Lives in a villa outside Seoul. Plays golf. Donates to charity. Pretends he was always a legitimate businessman. Does it bother you? That he's free? J1 considered. It used to. For the first month, I'd wake up angry. Thinking about my father. Seo Yun. Everything he took. He set down his coffee. But then I'd look at you. At this life. And I'd realize he didn't win. He spent 40 years planning revenge and ended up alone. I spent 3 days with you and ended up with everything. Everything. Everything that matters. She kissed him. Soft. Sweet. The kind of kiss that still made her heart do that 3-beat thing, but now felt like home instead of danger. I have something for you, he said. It's not my birthday. It's not that kind of gift. He pulled an envelope from the counter. Plain. White. Her name in his handwriting. She opened it. Inside was a deed. Property deed. For the brownstone. In her name. Just hers. J1. You said you wanted freedom. Independence. Something that was yours and couldn't be taken. He took her hands. This house is yours. Legally. Completely. If you want me here, I stay. If you want me gone, I go. Your choice. Always your choice. Her throat tightened. You're giving me the power to kick you out of your own house. I'm giving you the power to choose me every day. Not because you're trapped. Not because you're afraid. Not because you owe me. His eyes held hers. Because you want to. The tears came hot and fast. She didn't try to stop them. I choose you, she whispered. Every day. Every moment. Every breath. Then I'm home. They stood in their kitchen, holding each other while coffee went cold and sunlight painted everything gold. Outside, the world kept spinning. Empires rose and fell. Wars were fought and won and lost. People made mistakes and choices and lived with consequences. But here, in this space they'd carved out of chaos, Imani Cole and Park Jae-won were just two people who'd found each other in the dark and chose each other in the light. 3 years later, Imani's book hit the New York Times bestseller list in its second week. Pattern Recognition. Using Mathematics to Expose Financial Fraud. Dedicated to her mother, and to a man who'd taught her that intelligence wasn't a liability, it was a superpower. She did her book tour with J1 beside her. He'd joked that he was her security. Really, he just liked watching her speak. Liked seeing rooms full of people hang on her every word. Liked knowing that the woman who'd saved his life with a decimal point was now saving others by teaching them to see. They never had children. Chose not to. But Naomi's kids called them Uncle Jay and Aunt Imani. Visited every summer. Learned mathematics from her and Korean from him, and grew up knowing that family wasn't just blood, it was choice. The Jiamin-pa became a consulting firm. Security. Logistics. Completely legitimate. Boring, even. J1 stepped back. Let Ji-hai run operations. Spent his time learning to play piano. His mother's piano. Shipped from Korea. Restored to perfection. Some nights, Imani would wake at 3 a.m. to Chopin drifting through the brownstone. She'd walk downstairs and find him at the keys, playing nocturnes like prayers. She'd sit beside him. He'd keep playing. And they'd exist in that space between notes where grief and joy sounded the same. Min-suk died in his sleep at 71. Heart attack. Natural this time. Jae-won went to the funeral. Stood in the back. Didn't speak. Didn't cry. Just paid respects to a man who'd taught him what revenge cost. And chose peace instead. On their 10th anniversary, Jae-won took Imani back to Hanwoo, the restaurant where it all started. They sat in the private dining room. Ordered wagyu. Laughed about the night she'd stopped him from signing. Do you ever think about it? She asked. What would have happened if I'd stayed quiet? Every day. And I'd be dead or destroyed. And you'd be working somewhere you hated, getting fired for being brilliant. He raised his glass. To the decimal point that changed everything. She raised hers. To the man who made it matter. They drank. And in that moment, surrounded by the ghosts of who they'd been and the reality of who they'd become, Imani realized something. She'd spent her whole life looking for patterns. For answers. For the solution that would make everything make sense. But love wasn't a pattern. It wasn't an equation. It couldn't be solved or predicted or controlled. It could only be chosen. Every day. In 1,000 small ways. And she chose it. She chose him. She chose this. If you're still here, heart full and eyes wet, thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between safety and truth? Between staying silent and speaking up, knowing it might cost you everything? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. Remember what I said about my mom? About proving her wrong? If this story touched something in you that felt untouchable, subscribe. Not just for me, but for the person scrolling tonight, heartbroken and desperate for proof they'll survive. You could be the reason they find this. One more thing, where did you watch this from? Drop your city below. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Until the next one, take care of your heart. Red Heart.